Welcome to Watch-Worthy Shows. This year brought us a wave of sci-fi that's totally worth checking out. From epic space adventures to post-apocalyptic dystopias, AI thrillers, and franchise comebacks we've been waiting years for. Today, we're going through the 17 most important sci-fi movies that hit theaters and streaming platforms. But before we dive in, it'd really help me out if you could take a second to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for your support. Number 17. The Mandalorian and Grogu. The Empire fell, but the galaxy's still a mess. Din Djarin and Grogu are now working for the New Republic, taking on the last Imperial warlords who refuse to give up. The movie promises to take the relationship between the Mandalorian and his apprentice to a whole new level, with more dangerous missions and more powerful enemies. What's cool is that Jon Favreau directs and co-writes with Dave Filoni, so consistency with the show is guaranteed. Sigourney Weaver joins the cast as Colonel Ward, a brand new character who fought in the rebellion. The trailer shows solid action and emotional moments between Mando and Grogu that fans of the series are gonna love. The big question is whether the movie can justify jumping to the big screen or if it'll just feel like an extended episode of the show. Honestly, taking a TV story to theaters doesn't always work, but Favreau and Filoni know this universe better than anyone. We'll see if they can deliver something that feels truly cinematic when it hits theaters on May 22nd. Number 16. Greenland 2: Migration. 5 years after Comet Clark wrecked Earth, the Garrity family has to leave their bunker in Greenland. Resources are running out, the air is toxic, and staying underground isn't an option anymore. So they set off on a journey across Europe, looking for a new home, facing radioactive storms, looters, and the reality of a completely devastated world. Gerard Butler's back as John Garrity, and the movie delivers exactly what it promises. Non-stop action, one disaster after another, and tense family moments. The problem is it feels formulaic. The first movie had an interesting emotional core, but this sequel focuses so much on special effects and action scenes that it loses some of that humanity. Reviews have been mixed. It's got a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. Several critics point out that the movie's logic is questionable. People survive without masks in supposedly toxic air, and character decisions exist just to get to the next action scene. It's entertaining if you're looking for pure spectacle, but don't expect depth. It's been available in theaters and digital platforms since January. Number 15. Disclosure Day. Governments around the world finally reveal what they've been hiding for decades. We're not alone. The news explodes like a bomb. Panic in the streets, conspiracy theories becoming reality, political systems on the brink of collapse. The movie follows different people around the planet as they try to process the biggest truth in human history. The concept is fascinating, and director Breck Eisner tries to explore how society would actually react to this revelation. There's no spectacular alien invasion or ships destroying cities. It's more of a psychological drama about the chaos that emerges when everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe changes overnight. The problem is, the movie tries to cover too much. It jumps between multiple stories in different countries, and none of them gets enough time to develop properly. The performances are solid, especially Michael Shannon as an intelligence officer who's known the truth for years, but the movie feels incomplete, like it needed to be a miniseries instead of a 2-hour film. It's coming out sometime in the spring. Number 14. Mercy. In the near future, the justice system is controlled by Mercy, an AI with access to every camera, every phone, every piece of digital data that exists. No juries, no appeals. Just algorithms determining guilt or innocence with 99.9% certainty. Detective Christopher Raven believes in the system until Mercy accuses him of a crime he didn't commit. The movie raises interesting questions about justice, privacy, and control. How much are we willing to sacrifice our freedom for security? Can we trust machines to make life or death decisions? The thing is, these ideas aren't exactly new. We've seen them in Minority Report, Person of Interest, and dozens of other sci-fi thrillers. What makes Mercy worth watching is Chris Evans' performance as Raven. There's this scene where he confronts the AI, trying to reason with something that can't be reasoned with, that's genuinely unsettling. But overall, the movie plays it too safe and doesn't manage to say anything particularly original about technology or morality. Coming out this summer. Number 13. Mortal Kombat 2. After the first tournament, the champions of Earthrealm face an even deadlier challenge. Johnny Cage finally makes his appearance, played by Karl Urban, and the trailer makes it clear he doesn't take anything seriously. Shao Kahn threatens to conquer Earthrealm, so the fighters have to team up again, including Liu Kang, Sonya Blade, and of course Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Simon McQuoid returns as director, and the movie promises more brutal fights, better choreography, and those bloody fatalities fans want to see. Karl Urban seems to be having a blast as Cage, and his charisma gives the movie a different tone compared to the more serious first one. Screenwriter Jeremy Slater mentioned they wanted to embrace the game's inherent weirdness and make something unpredictable. That could be good or bad, depending on how they pull it off. The movie was originally supposed to come out last October, but got pushed to May 8th. Test screenings have been strong, according to reports, so there's optimism that it'll really improve on what the first one did. Number 12. Wonder Man. Simon Williams is a washed-up actor who'd do anything for a second chance. After a mysterious accident, he gets superhuman powers and ionic energy that makes him practically indestructible. The problem is, Simon's still as selfish and shallow as ever. He can just fly and shoot energy blasts now. Destin Daniel Cretton directs, bringing the same irreverent tone that made Shang-Chi work. The series doesn't take itself seriously, which is refreshing in an increasingly dark superhero landscape. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II plays Simon with charisma and perfect comedic timing. Ben Kingsley returns as Trevor Slattery, and his chemistry with Abdul-Mateen is one of the best parts of the show. What's divisive is that Wonder Man feels more like a comedy with superhero elements than a superhero show with comedy. If you're expecting epic battles and dramatic stakes, you're gonna be disappointed. But if you just want a good time watching an idiot learn to be less of an idiot while accidentally saving the world, you'll enjoy it. Critics have been positive, with a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. It premiered on January 27th on Disney+. Number 11. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die. Some guy shows up at a diner in Los Angeles at 2 in the morning saying he's from the future. A rogue AI is gonna end the world before sunrise, and his only hope is to recruit the exact group of miserable losers eating pancakes right then and there. Nobody believes him, obviously, until things start blowing up outside. The premise is absurd, and the movie knows it. It's a weird mix of urgent sci-fi, dark humor, and human redemption. The cast includes unknown actors mixed with a couple recognizable names, and they surprisingly work well together. There's a waitress who hates her life, a fired programmer, a talentless musician, all forced to work as a team to save a world that's basically ignored them. The best thing about the movie is it never loses its sarcastic tone. Even when things get serious, there's an underlying cynicism that feels honest. The problem is the third act gets too conventional. After spending an hour making fun of action movie tropes, it ends up falling into those same tropes. Still, it's entertaining and different. Coming to theaters this fall. Number 10. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Kara Zor-El isn't the optimistic, cheerful cousin of Superman, from TV shows. This version is closer to Tom King's comic, where Kara is tougher, more cynical, traumatized from watching her entire planet die when she was old enough to understand it. The movie follows her as she helps a young alien girl avenge her father's murder, traveling through different worlds and facing cosmic threats. Millie Alcock plays Kara, and she brings an intensity you didn't expect. She's not the perfect, immaculate superhero. She's someone carrying real pain and a rage she can barely contain. Director Craig Gillespie creates impressive visuals with alien planets that feel genuinely strange and different. The problem is, the movie tries to do too much. It wants to be a personal drama about trauma and loss, an epic space adventure, and a story about friendship, all at the same time. Some moments are really powerful, but others feel rushed. Jason Momoa shows up as Lobo in a supporting role that steals every scene he's in. The movie premieres on June 26th as part of James Gunn's new DC universe. Number 9. Cold storage. In 1987, a deadly fungus nearly wiped out humanity. A former bioterrorism agent managed to contain it and seal it in an underground facility in Kansas. 30 years later, 2 young employees accidentally release it while doing inventory. The fungus spreads fast, it's invisible, and it turns any living thing into a walking mass of spores. The old agent has to come out of retirement to fix the mess before it's too late. The movie's based on a novel by David Koepp, who also wrote the screenplay. Liam Neeson plays the retired agent with that mix of weariness and determination he does so well. The tension builds slow, but effectively. The fungus is terrifying precisely because you can't see it. It could be in the air, on the walls, in the person standing next to you. What works is the claustrophobic atmosphere and constant sense of danger. What doesn't work as well is the development of the young characters. They're basically cannon fodder with generic dialogue. The movie works better when it focuses on Neeson racing against the clock to save the world for the umpteenth time. It's tense, effective, and will make you want to obsessively wash your hands. Coming out in March. Number 8. Worldbreaker. A father takes his daughter to a remote island to hide her from the world. He trains her in combat, survival, and teaches her that out there, there's only danger. She grows up believing she's the last of her kind, that something terrible happened and only the 2 of them survived. When her secret is exposed, the girl discovers everything she was told was a lie. She's not a survivor, she's a weapon. The movie plays with your expectations. It starts as a survival drama, becomes an action thriller, and ends up being something bigger and stranger. Millie Bobby Brown plays the lead and proves she can carry an action movie on her own. The fight sequences are well choreographed, brutal, and realistic. The second act twist is effective if you didn't see it coming, but if you're familiar with this type of story, it's pretty predictable. The father-daughter relationship is the emotional heart of the movie, and it works thanks to the chemistry between Brown and the actor playing her father. The third act gets a bit too big, with explosions and chases that overshadow the more intimate moments that made the movie interesting. Still, it's solid, coming out in July. Number 7. The Bride. Chicago, 1930. Frankenstein seeks out Dr. Euphronius to create a companion. They revive a murdered woman, giving her new life and consciousness. She wakes up with no memories, no past, only the strange present of being alive when she should be dead. A romance develops between her and Frankenstein, but her existence attracts unwanted attention. The police investigate, society is scandalized, and she becomes an involuntary symbol of change and rebellion. Maggie Gyllenhaal directs and brings a beautiful gothic sensibility. The cinematography is stunning, all deep shadows and saturated colors. Jessie Buckley plays the bride with a fascinating mix of innocence and ferocity. Christian Bale is Frankenstein, tired and desperate for connection after decades of solitude. The movie works better as a gothic romance than horror. There are beautiful moments, especially when it explores what it means to be alive, to have agency, to choose your own destiny. The problem is the pacing. Sometimes it lingers too much on atmosphere and loses narrative momentum. The action scenes toward the end feel out of place, like the studio insisted on having something more commercial. But it's visually dazzling and emotionally resonant. Coming in October. Number 6. Hoppers. Imagine growing up surrounded by animals in a quiet little town in the Northwest, with a natural clearing full of life that was always your favorite place in the world. That's exactly what Mabel has, a girl who loves animals more than anything else. But one day, a mayor with big urban development plans threatens to destroy that sanctuary to build a highway, and nobody seems to want to do anything about it. Mabel decides to take matters into her own hands and finds the craziest solution you could ever imagine. A group of eccentric scientists develop technology to transfer human consciousness into robotic animal bodies. Before anyone can stop her, she jumps straight into the body of a mechanical beaver. What seemed like a simple plan turns into a completely unexpected adventure when she discovers that animal society has its own rules, hierarchies, and secrets. To save her home, Mabel will have to earn the trust of King George, the charismatic king of the beavers, and unite the entire animal kingdom behind a common cause. Pixar delivers with this film a story full of heart, humor, and a protagonist who simply won't take no for an answer. Number 5. Iron Lung. A prisoner is forced on a suicide mission, exploring an ocean of blood on an alien moon, trapped inside a rusted, windowless submarine. All he has is a primitive sonar, an external camera that takes blurry photos, and a barely functioning radio. There's something down there in the darkness, something that moves, something that shouldn't exist. The film is based on an indie horror video game, and director Marcus Lundstrom perfectly captures that atmosphere of claustrophobic dread. There's no comic relief, no moments to breathe. Just constant, steadily escalating tension. Mark Hamill plays the prisoner, and the entire movie is essentially a monologue of him talking to himself, slowly losing his sanity. It's a brutal and deeply uncomfortable experience. 90 minutes of someone trapped in a tiny space, surrounded by darkness and blood, waiting to die. Not everyone will be able to handle it. But if you like movies that make you feel genuinely uneasy, that dive into pure psychological horror, this one is a masterpiece. Critics love it, general audiences hate it. It holds a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes, but a 90 on Metacritic. It premieres at festivals in September before hitting theaters. Number 4. 28 years later, The Bone Temple. 28 years after the infection, Britain is a wasteland. The direct sequel to 28 Years Later completely shifts tone. Nia DaCosta directs this time, and instead of copying Danny Boyle's style, she creates something totally different. Spike joins the gang of Sir Jimmy Crystal, a satanic cult of acrobatic killers traveling through Britain, torturing survivors and killing infected. Meanwhile, Dr. Kelson makes a discovery that could change the world. Ralph Fiennes builds a temple literally made of human bones, not out of evil, but as a monument to the dead. Jack O'Connell plays Jimmy Crystal as a charismatic and completely unhinged villain, traumatized by his past. The movie explores how monstrous humans can be when the infected aren't the only threat anymore. It's extremely graphic, brutal violence, explicit nudity, constant blasphemy. This movie takes the 4th spot because it pulls off something rare in zombie sequels. It completely reinvents the franchise without losing its essence. DaCosta takes huge risks and they pay off. It's got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, it's been a box office hit, and the 3rd movie with Cillian Murphy has already been confirmed. It's visceral, disturbing, but also deeply human. It premiered in January and is still in theaters. Number 3, The Super Mario Bros. Movie 2. Mario is sent beyond the Mushroom Kingdom on a massive cosmic adventure through distant galaxies. Facing gravity-defying dangers and more powerful enemies than ever, he must unlock strange abilities to save the universe. With familiar allies by his side, the journey becomes Mario's greatest challenge. Playfully epic and full of heart. Illumination returns for the sequel, and this time they're going big. If the first movie was a tour of the Mushroom Kingdom, this one's a tour of Mario's entire universe. Galaxies inspired by the games, planets with unique mechanics, references that'll make fans explode with happiness. Chris Pratt is back voicing Mario, and this time he feels more comfortable in the role. Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach has more to do, and Jack Black as Bowser steals every scene again. This movie takes the 3rd spot because it's pure, perfect family entertainment. It's not trying to be deep or subversive, it just wants you to have fun, and it totally succeeds. The animation is dazzling, the pacing is frenetic, the songs are catchy. It had the biggest opening weekend ever for an animated movie at $200 million. Critics have been mostly positive, and audiences love it. It's been in theaters since April and keeps breaking records. Number 2, The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. 24 years before Katniss, Panem holds the 50th Hunger Games, also known as the Second Quarter Quell. A young Haymitch Abernathy is selected to compete in the bloodiest event in history, where the number of tributes is doubled: 48 teenagers, 1 winner. It's the story of how Haymitch became the alcoholic broken mentor we met in the original trilogy. Francis Lawrence returns as director, bringing the same visceral intensity that made Catching Fire shine. The movie doesn't romanticize violence, it's brutal, merciless, and makes you feel every death. Watching Haymitch as an optimistic kid who gradually breaks is devastating. The cast hasn't been fully announced yet, but rumors point to unknown young actors to maintain authenticity. This movie takes the 2nd spot because it represents the triumphant return of a franchise many thought was dead. After the success of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Lionsgate proved there are still powerful stories to tell in Panem. Anticipation is huge, and if Lawrence delivers what he promises, it could be the best movie in the entire franchise. Suzanne Collins personally wrote the screenplay, which guarantees it'll respect the source material, coming out November 20th. Number 1. Avengers: Doomsday. The Avengers assemble once again to face a threat that could erase reality itself. Robert Downey Jr. returns to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but not as Tony Stark. This time he plays Dr. Doom, the movie's main villain. The Russo brothers are back directing after Endgame, and the cast is massive. Thor, Captain America Sam Wilson, the Fantastic Four, Shuri, Namor, Shang-Chi, and more. The multiverse is collapsing, and Doom has a plan to save it that requires impossible sacrifices. The teaser confirms Steve Rogers returns, continuing his story from Endgame's ending. There are also reports that Deadpool will appear, and rumors that the X-Men from the Fox movies will have a role. The movie was originally coming out in May, but got moved to December to avoid competing with other blockbusters. This movie takes the top spot because it's Marvel's biggest risk since Endgame. After a very uneven Phase 4 and 5, Doomsday has to reconnect everything and revitalize the universe. Bringing back the Russos and Downey Jr. is a risky but potentially brilliant move. If it works, Marvel's back on top. If it doesn't, the Marvel Cinematic Universe could be in serious trouble. The stakes couldn't be higher. Coming out December 18th. Y así cerramos este recorrido por las 15 películas de ciencia ficción que no te puedes perder este año. Desde thrillers cósmicos hasta el regreso de leyendas del cine, hay opciones para todos los gustos. Si te gustó este video, no olvides dejar tu like, suscribirte y activar la campanita para no perderte nuestros próximos contenidos. Cuéntame en los comentarios cuál de estas películas esperas con más ganas. Nos vemos en el próximo video.